I'm Jessica with Assurance Real Estate Acquisition Inc. And I have here today a very special guest, Brent Turley. He's one of our business coaches, and today he'll talk to us about accountability. So many times we have our friends and ourselves sometimes who sets a lot of goals, but we fail to reach them at times. So we hear you talk all the time that accountability partners can help. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. You know, here's the big thing. With any time you're setting a goal, you've got to make sure that there's not too many goals. That's where one of the challenges come, is that they get to the point where I'm setting too many goals, and so it becomes like Mount Everest. So one of the things that they've got to do is simplify. Start with a couple, maybe 3, and make sure they're achieving that. And then once they get those, then that helps. Now, the accountability part of it is whenever you do a goal, you need to have a long-range goal, let's say a year.
Okay.
But to get to that, you need to have 90 days, little intersections. So 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, 90 days. The key, though, is most people, that's too far. Okay. So what they need to do is they need to do every 7 days.
Okay, so they break it down even
Break
further.
it down even further. And then from the 7 days, even to daily. But the bigger picture is if you just look daily, some people will go crazy. So what you got to do is you got to do 7 days. Okay. So what you should do is find someone who's going to hold you accountable. It can't be a spouse. If it's a spouse, there's friction. It's not a good thing. Okay? So what you want to do is find somebody outside of your realm of influence there, outside the home. 7 days. Here's the deal. I need to reach these activities. Okay, so it's got to be activity driven. That then will get results. That then will match up to the 90 days. So that way, if you're hitting the weekly goal, it has to be that once you hit that weekly goal, and the next weekly goal, and the next one, you'll hit the 90-day benchmark.
Okay.
So what you have to do is you have to figure out what kind of consequences or rewards are going to be valuable enough that say, hey, you'll do it. My experience is unless the consequence is something that will wake you up at 4 a.m. in the morning, it's not strong enough.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you have an example?
Sure. I remember doing a time where we did an example where somebody was having a contest with my family and I. Okay. And we did different consequences of if we didn't reach something during that week. You know, let's say exercising. We had to exercise every single day, and we had to eat right. But if we didn't reach that goal by the end of the week, guess what happened? We had a consequence. Well, the ones we were finding before that weren't strong enough. Okay. Finally, we found one that said, hey, if the loser of the contest has to clean the toilet of the other person's home they're choosing, that one got everyone's attention.
Pretty motivating.
Yeah, I've had times with salespeople where we say, listen, you've got to reach certain activities within a week, and if you don't, then you've got to clean the service vehicle. Sometimes we've had to take it to an extreme of you've got to clean the service vehicle in a Speedo or something of that nature. So something that shocks you, that says, listen, there is no way I'm not going to get the activities done. Because if I don't, then I've got this. Most people will jog towards rewards. Like, you know, reward yourself with dinner or a night out with movies. They'll jog to that and usually will miss it. A consequence that is so rigorous or dire in nature, people, it's in their attention. It's on the front part of their brain going, I've got to get this done.
So how would you know that you picked a good accountability partner?
You won't know that until after the week that you miss. If you miss and they don't hold you accountable by saying, it's okay, Jessica, I know you tried really hard, you don't have to clean the toilet, you know, you don't have to go wash the vehicle, you don't have to wear a swimsuit or anything. If they're not willing to hold you accountable. Another one is, sometimes you'll find what is an amount of money that hurts. For some people it's $500, some people it's $50, some people it's $5,000, some people it's $50,000, depending on what level of financial position they are. if you had a thing that says, listen, I'm going to write you a check or give you cash if I don't reach my goal, something that stings. It can't be something that says, I lost $10, no big deal.
Yeah.
It has to be something that stings. Well, at the end of the week, if that person's not willing to take the money or have you do the consequence, that's when you know
You've got to find a new one.
you've got to find a new one. You know, usually that means that person doesn't have a strong enough spine to say you have to do it. And actually they think they're helping you by saying it's okay, I know. They're actually hurting you. What if you paid that $500? You don't have the $500, but you pay it. The next week, do you think you're going to hit your activity goals? Absolutely. Not even chances are. You're absolutely going. Because if it stung the first time, it's going to like really hurt the second time. So you've got to make sure that you have somebody. But you won't know if you pick the right person until you get it. Now there's ways to find people who you know are disciplined. You know, like myself, if I had you, obviously I'm going to hold you. So you can see clues of who's not going to be as relaxed about letting you not get there.
So what kind of clues are you talking about?
Clues would be, are they disciplined in their own life?
Okay.
Do they reach goals, or do they just set goals like most everyone else and don't reach them?
Okay.
So people that you see that are actually striving, that are actually successful, they're not worried about confronting an issue.
Right.
Some people are like going, confrontation makes me nervous.
Yeah, they're
So,
peacekeepers.
yeah. So find someone who's willing to confront an issue, someone who already is setting goals and reaching them, not just setting goals, but reaching them. And other people who you deem as being successful, like I want to get to their level, and I know that they've done the disciplines to get there.
So at the very beginning you talked about goals and how we need to choose a few and then not too many, right? So if you're in a world where there's constantly ideas coming to you, how do you differentiate what we should do now versus what should be done later?
Well, that's why having a coach is a big part of it. Because a coach will be able to sift through and say, okay, that goal you're looking at is not going to get you where you need to go. Okay. So having somebody who has what you want, you then identify the goals you're thinking, you bounce them off them. And that's a person who can then say, hey, this is the right one, this one's not, this one's not. Okay. That one is good, but let's tweak it a little bit. We need to make it a little bit more measurable. Because sometimes goals that are set out there is I want to have a better attitude. What does that mean? You know, I want to smile more. I want to be more enthusiastic. I want to be more excited. No, it needs to be things like I need to say hello to every person that walks past me. I need to make sure that I have at least 20 times when I greet somebody every day where I'm smiling. Something that has to be measurable where you can go, that's one, that's two, that's three, and you'll get into a habit. If it's not measurable,
then you don't know.
You don't know. I mean, how would you know if you're actually making progress, if you're actually getting better? So you got to have it measurable and something that improves all the time.
Well, thank you for all that information. It's
You bet.
very informative, and I'll definitely be looking for an accountable partner that will hold me accountable.
Yeah,
So,
just not your significant other. It has to be somebody else.
okay, well, thank you for all that information.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it. Thank
It
you
was
very
great to be here.